Check, check, check. Hey there, record loving friend. Ooh, some depth of field, right? The foreground, right? My hands are out of focus, right? And here in the middle, my face is in focus. And then in the background, that's out of focus, right? That's called the depth of field. Do you guys know that? Like, it's depth of field is not deep like this deep. Depth of field means this deep. And there's a little graphic on your camera that you maybe know about. You know these, let's see if I can get it going. I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, not a great idea. Okay, so you have these scales right here, right? And they all mean something. A little bit hard to decipher, but you can see there's like feet and meters on here. And then there's some numbers, and there's a dot there in the middle. And you can see that there's numbers that come off, and they're the same on each side. They're coming off, and they're like, it's like, what does it say? It says 2, 4, 8, 11, 16. It goes 2, where else can I get it? 2, 4, 8, 11, 16. It's a little bit hard to understand, but basically what it's telling you, I gotta get this focus right. Something like this. What it's telling you is whatever aperture you said, aperture on your camera is how big the hole is. Let me see if I can show you that too. This one's not the greatest lens to explain that, but maybe I can try. You can see the hole there, right? And it closes down, little hole. It closes down and then it opens up. That's called your aperture. And those little things that turn around in there are your aperture blades. Okay. So you have like 7 little sort of like sailboat shaped, sail shaped little blades. And they open and they close. And when you have a big aperture, you have a small number. That's like f2, f2.8. And then when you have a little tiny aperture, that's a really high number. So it's a little bit counterintuitive. That's an f64 or f something like that, f22 in this case. So big hole, small hole, small number, big number. Okay, so that's the F number. That's the f-stop number. Why is the f-stop number important? Because the f-stop number is kind of one of your main creative tools. Your aperture, dang it, this is going to go on. Okay, I'm going to explain this. Hold on. This is going to be one of your main creative tools when you are creating with photography. So I'm going to forewarn you, my camera is like all kinds of going berserk. Well, not my camera, but my camera lens. And it's not playing nice with me because I dropped it, because I use it, and because that's the way it goes sometimes. And let me just check here. Okay, I'm going. So yeah, what happened is that this camera that I have, this lens that I'm using, it's dying, and I got a replacement. Not the camera, but the lens. The lens got dropped. It's going to cost me like a freaking $800 to repair. I don't have an extra $800, so I'm going to deal with it for a little while. I just have to deal with it for a day. But aperture, yeah, you have the big aperture gives you a shallow depth of field. It means like it's a shallow depth of field. It means everything that's between here and here, like the 40-yard line and the 60-yard line or whatever, everything that's in that little space is going to be in focus, all of that little area. And if you have a very big or if you have a really tiny hole, it's a little bit counterintuitive, but if you have a really tiny hole, it means that everything in the foreground is going to be in focus and everything in the background is going to be in focus. Think about like a flower. Like if there was a flower right here, and this is where my finger is. If you have a little tiny aperture, then the flower is going to be in focus. I'm going to be in focus, and the mountains in the background are going to be in focus. And if I have a really big aperture, if the bigger the aperture, the more expensive the lens is. If I have a big aperture, then you're going to get this kind of effect where you have something that's in the foreground that's either in focus or out of focus, and whatever else falls out of focus. And there's a word that we call this sort of softness of when something goes out of like focus like this, and it creates this sort of blurred effect, and just my eyes are in focus and what's behind me is out of focus. It's a Japanese word called bokeh. And I hear people pronounce it like boki or something, but it's bokeh, just FYI. You can pronounce it however you want to pronounce it. But bokeh is the texture of the softness of things that are in the foreground or in the background that look sort of out of focus because of the aperture settings. And there's a lot of like calculations and triangulations and geometry and algebra probably that goes into this, because it's not just a sort of fixed formula. It changes the closer you are and the further you are from things. So it's a little bit of a hard thing to explain. The reason I'm just going off on photography is because two reasons. One, I have an hour-long video that I am exporting right now that I'm so excited to share. I've been working on it. It's 2 in the morning. It's 2:20 in the morning. It's Friday night. We have a 3-day weekend. Everybody's sleeping in tomorrow. And I got a little time, just like a little bit of time. So I'm not going to go that long, but I just have a little bit of time. Let me say hi to you guys. So my camera, I want to share something. I'm sorry. I've got a lot in my mind. I've been using a zoom lens on my. I know most of you guys just probably stream from your computer camera, right? Your what do they call it? Your webcam on your computer, right? I'm a photographer, so I have all these cameras, a gajillions of them, and I got them every shape and size, and I have like pro ones, and I'm like, I might as well put one of them to use. I have like something like this. I have like one of these things that I think I bought for like $10 at like I was just like, oh, I'll have it as a second camera. But these things, I like the depth of field. I like when you can see this, you can get creative with the options, with the variables, with the parameters of photography and aperture and shutter speed. So what you're doing when you're making photos is you're balancing 3, 4, maybe 5 things, but really there's 3 main things that you're balancing. ISO. That ISO means like it means like International Standard Organization. It's just a standard that people use to standardize any infinite number of things, tools, devices, all different kinds of things. There's a governing international body that I think is called like the ISO, the International Standard Organization, and they standardize units of qubits and things like this. And so it should be called something else. It's a little bit of a misnomer, but ISO is your film speed. This gets really confusing because shutter speed is totally different from film speed. I'm gonna try to get through this, but it means how sensitive, the sensitivity of your film. You remember like when you were growing up and you had like film and you're like, oh, they had like, you went to the Kmart or the drugstore and they had like 400 film and 200 film and 800 film and 1600 film, and you didn't like, they were like all slightly different prices and you didn't really know which one you should get, and you're like, it's the more expensive one should be the good one, it should give me the better pictures. They all serve a different purpose. The one that has 100 ISO means that it's not very sensitive to light. It's the lowest sensitivity, 100 speed, 100 ISO. There's lower, but it's also called ASA, which gets to be a little bit confusing, but 100 ASA or 100 ISO or 100 Yeah, if your film speed is 100 ISO, then that's the lowest. That's what you want to use in the daytime when there's lots of light. And you don't want a super sensitive film for a really bright day, because you can't use you can't use the aperture. You can't. I swear to God, I've taught this many, many, many times. But the right light conditions call for a particular ISO on your film. And so the 100 is for like a bright sunny day. The 400 is kind of like all purpose. My camera's going to keep dying like this, and I'm just going to keep pushing the button and turning it back on. So forgive me for that. Then you have like 800, which might be for like a kind of like dusk, or or dawn. And then you have like 1600, which might be for like a concert or something. And there's trade-offs from going from this really low ISO to the really high ISO. And then there's even higher speed film. But what happens is that there's film. The film itself is just plastic. It's just, I think, what is film? Film is just polychemical. It's just plastic, basically. And then there's this other stuff that is this chemical goo that you make up, and you mix in a handful of chemicals, and you dump in this silver basically. Interestingly, silver, this is so genius. This is like kind of like why I love records, is because records are so analog. It's you put this needle on this groove, and the groove shakes, and it sends this vibration, and that vibration either becomes the sound itself, or the vibration becomes a unit, and that unit gets interpreted by electricity. It's so simple, and it's so mind-blowing. And silver, the actual element, is amazing. All elemental metals are really insane. But one of the things that happens, you've heard about like carbon dating. Essentially what happens is, how far do we go down the rabbit hole? Okay, let's just go for it, just for fun, just to goof off. Let me say hi to everybody real quick, because I'll keep going. You just let me go down my little rabbit hole here. Hey, Vincent, nice to see you, dude. Can I pull these? Are they going? Okay, you're going up there. All right, cool. Wait, I need to pull this up. That's how this is going to work. I've got a slightly different configuration today. That's kind of like I should do it both ways. Why is that not working? Oh, no. Oh, things are really not working today. Okay, well, we're just going to keep going with the way that we are. I'm going to have to look here and here. Yes, bouquet, as in bouquet, but I hear it called bokeh. What do you guys call it? How do you guys say it? It's bouquet it's a Japanese word. It's bouquet. It means bouquet is like pint. Bouquet. Bo means like explosion. What is bouquet? And bouquet is the kind of explosion. It's a kind of bouquet. It's hard to explain, but it's like K is kind, and bow is like explosion. It's a kind of explosion. 4D in the house. What's up, dude? Yes, bouquet. Hi from Toronto. Okay, Toronto. Grasshopper TV. You're from Toronto, dude. Nice. Okay. Am I doing this right? This is a little bit confusing. I've got okay. It's a little bit of a TV thing. Okay. There's a surreal sketch in a Woody Allen movie where Robin Williams plays an actor who's out of focus. I love that one. That's such a good one. I'm out of focus. What's wrong with me? I'm out of focus. That's a funny one. What's that one called? Not just in camera, but in real life. His kids telling Daddy's out of focus. Yes, I remember. That's a funny one. That's one of the best gags like in a movie ever. That's so funny. Have you guys seen this? The cat, it's like a big chill kind of movie, and there's all these characters. There's this big reunion, and everybody comes back, and it's a Woody Allen film. And Robin Williams is one of the characters who comes back, and he's like literally on film, they use some special effects, and he's like soft focus. You can't focus in on it. He's like walking across the screen, like animated out of focus. And he's like, I'm out of focus. What the fuck is going on? It's really funny. Yeah, that's a good one. I forget what it's called. Hey, from Cape Town. Vincent's from Cape Town, dude. Nice. That's the other. We have one other South African buddy who comes around. Just note the brackets, the parentheses here. 40 uses these to communicate between other members in the chat, which is really genius. It means it signifies, we kind of created this little code. It signifies to the host that you can skip over this comment, even though I'm pulling it up. But it is a thing that I've started to kind of use whenever I can remember to use it. I quite like it. It's pretty good. Barry Brennan in the house. What's up? I'm going to keep reading those because sometimes I like to read them and waving to the chat while fixing with the scroll supper. 40 feeds the scrolls every day. Photo Weenie in the house. Up, dude. Ah, dang it. There goes the camera. I'm just going to like. So this camera that the lens that I dropped, when I stuck it onto the old camera, it doesn't want to the camera's malfunctioning. Like there's something in the circuitry of the lens that's broken and it won't communicate, and it's like I could short circuit the camera with it, but I'm just going to gamble on it. So it's just I can't change anything. It's like jammed. It's like raspberry jam. Nobody dares gives me the raspberry jam. You know that one? I hope you've named said squirrels. What are they? Hey, Nick Fantasy. I like to say Fantasy, but I guess it's Fantasy, right? But I like to say Fantasy. It's got a little. Sorry, I don't. Nobody wants to have their name mispronounced. Nice to have you here, Nick. And Nick, Nick. FYI, you guys all know this, but just in case you don't, that's the Pixies P, right? That's the old school Pixies P. Love me some Pixies P, man. I'm a P. I'm a Peterson. That's a great P. We're both P's. Okay, I'm gonna skip over 40s. Okay, I really am. Ringo is one of the scrolls. Okay, I am really actually gonna skip over these. All right, love it. Brian, you said however you like. All right, cheers. Okay, so the Earth is like molten metal in the core of the Earth. The only way that the Earth can be spinning at the rate that it's going, the only way that it can have the velocity that it does around the sun is if the center of the Earth is basically iron. It has the correct weight for the Earth to be moving at the speed that it is moving, and that's why scientists sort of speculate that the core of the Earth is made of iron. They also have some ways to basically send sound waves through the Earth. They have P waves and S waves, and you've heard about these, but like basically we can either from earthquakes or from geological activity, we can triangulate where things are coming from. We can find out where the epicenters of earthquakes happen, and because some kinds of sound waves will travel through some kinds of materials and other kinds won't travel through them, and we can determine distances and triangulate all different kinds of things depending on what kind of materials these waves are going through. And so I don't exactly know how anybody figured this shit out, but they've concluded basically that the core of the Earth has to be metal, and not like a solid ball of metal, but like a molten, like basically like very, very rich, iron rich lava, I guess you could say, maybe. Or maybe it is an iron ball. I don't really know. But because there's so much iron in this thing, there's so much metal, it basically, I'm grossly oversimplifying this, but it basically creates this enormous magnet. Okay, the center of the Earth is basically this enormous magnet, and it's got positive electrons coming out from the bottom and negative and going back into the negative pole, right? There's two poles, right? You guys know this, right? There's North Pole, there's like North Pole on which the Earth rotates, and then there's magnetic North Pole, and the pole that the Earth rotates around is fixed. And the magnetic North Pole is it hovers all around, and it travels far. And over the course of 20,000 years or 40,000 years, it has these cycles and it moves around a lot. And the Earth has a wobble, all this kind of stuff. And these electrons that are blasting out of the North Pole, out of the North Magnetic Pole, basically create a force field, that creates a force field. So when the solar wind comes and is coming blasting from the sun, it hits our magnetic field, and it sends its solar rays around us, and that's what creates the aurora borealis, right? So this molten lava that's all inside the Earth's core, and not all the way down to the center, but underneath the upper crust of the core, right? It's got all these metals inside it, and when it gets erupted, it crystallizes basically, and these crystalline structures sort of get orientated as soon as they solidify. This is just, and it has to do with the poles. So basically, inside the atoms and inside the building blocks of the elements, as soon as these things cool down and crystallize, kind of like we have crystals in crystal caves, these things orientate themselves to degrees, latitude, or longitude, or whatever, and they orientate themselves to the North Pole. It's real interesting how they kind of came to understand this, or how. Boy, this is good. I'm getting further and further away here. Okay, so basically, early navigators of the early navigators of the globe, they discovered certain mineral belts in like West Africa that they also found in like South America. Very unique, weird minerals, and they started mapping out. The cartographers started mapping out the borders of the continents, and they saw that they got fixed together, and they're like, how did these things all get fixed together? Yeah, at one point, and so they figured, all right, well, these things were once connected, but through the centrifugal spin of the Earth, these things started to slowly drift apart. That was a theory that scientists had for a really long time, actually like 1,000 years or hundreds of years. But the Earth is not spinning fast enough for there to be continents drifting apart from each other. It's just that the force of the spin is not strong enough to move continents away from each other. So they figured, okay, it must be the centrifugal force of the Earth plus the gravitational pull of the moon. Those two things, and the gravitational pull of the sun too. These things in conjunction must be pulling the continents apart. Like, okay, that kind of calculates for how far these things have traveled, and so then it was basically during World War II. I forget the dude's name, but there was like this like Navy admiral who's like sailing across the Atlantic looking for submarines for 3, 4, 5 years, and sonar or whatever they had just been invented, and it was basically just a way to send sound waves down to the bottom of the ocean, and then for them to bounce back up, and for you to be able to look for submarines, and depending on how quickly the sound bounced back, and you could determine basically if there was a submarine there. Well, this guy, one of these admirals basically left the radar on the whole time. And every time he traversed the Atlantic Ocean, he began like mapping the ocean floor. And every time that he crossed the Atlantic Ocean, he would find this mid-Atlantic mountain ridge that was out there, like in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, a seam that went all the way down from the Arctic Sea through Iceland, all the way down, basically right in the middle, following the curvature and the border of the continents that went all the way down to the Antarctica, essentially. And they said, oh, look at this, it's like a mountain range in the middle of the ocean. And so they started thinking about this mid-Atlantic ridge, and they started sending things down there to check it out. And what they found was quite interesting. They found that they pulled these rocks up from the bottom of the seafloor, and they found that they used, I'm not sure what the chronology here, but maybe carbon dating things. They basically drilled, what do they call them? Like columns. They pulled out dirt, and they pulled out they pulled out soil and dirt from the bottom of the seabed, and dirt that hadn't been exposed to light for millions of years. Okay. And sort of like the way that they can, like, go to the Antarctica and they can dig way down in Antarctica and they can see these striations of like pollen. That's how they determine, like, global temperatures and things like this. They can look at like how much pollen there was, which signifies like how many trees were growing, which signifies like how much rain there was. They can deduce all this stuff by like looking in these columns, right? So anyway, they go down to the bottom of the ocean, and they start pulling up this rock, and they start analyzing it very closely, and they find that like rocks that were like 100 miles from this mid-Atlantic ridge and towards the eastern seaboard of America, that had all the crystalline structures like pointing northward. And then for the next band of 100 miles, all the crystalline structures are pointing south. And then for the next like 800 miles, it was all pointing north. And then for the next 20 miles, they were all pointing south. And so they found these kind of like rainbow striations across the next to the mid-Atlantic seaboard that went all the way to the east coast of America. Then they went to the other side of the mid-Atlantic ridge, and they found the exact same bands of striation on both sides. For every little 20,000, 50,000, whatever, however many millions of years, dang it, they would find basically the mirror image on the other side of the mid-Atlantic ridge. And they could deduce that basically the North and Southern Pole have been flip-flopping every however many thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. There's some debate about how like regularly they flip. But if you look at the striations of the floor, there's some of them seem to reflect that there's certain fixed patterns in the geological calendar, and some of them, but they don't follow, and some other people or some other scientists, or there's some other science that proves that they don't actually follow these, and sometimes that they go hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years without flipping. And then anyway, so they know that there's this magnetism and this magnetic field on the Earth, and that metal orientates itself depending on when it solidifies and when it's exposed to light and when it does all different kinds of things. You can deduce a whole lot of information by putting metal under a microscope and looking at its structure, essentially looking at its architecture. So silver, I'm going back to photography here. Silver is one of these elemental things that it also has an orientation. And what happens when you've got this film substrate, and you take this chemistry, this goo, basically glue, and you dump a bunch of silver into it, and you make sure that it's not exposed to light. Okay? And you mix this stuff up, and then you paint it on this film, right? Okay? So this silver has not been exposed, or it's been I don't actually know how they do this, but it's basically been set to 0. It's been painted on this film, and then it goes into your camera, and you can't expose it to light, right? That's the thing, right? You can't expose the film to light. And the same goo that they put on film, they also put on photographic paper. It's called emulsion, okay? It's this mix of silver and glue, basically. And what happens is when you take a picture, remember those toys that had they had like magnetic dust on them, and you could it was like a tray with like a bunch of like magnetic sand, and you can put the magnet on the top or the bottom, and it starts to do like this. It creates these like weird flower formations, and you can move it around, and it kind of like you watch it do its thing. But that's what photography is. When you hit this silver that's inside this chemistry glue, when you hit it with light, depending on how much light you hit it with, this silver goes bling, and that's what makes it either light tones or dark tones. And there's so much gradation depending on the amount of light that it hits. It's this crazy, like 1-for-1 analog magic that happens. It's so cool. It's so cool. And not only do you do it on the film, like when you take the picture, you fucking do it again in the darkroom. And you basically, you paint this silver on this paper, and you blast it with light the same way that you blast it first with film, right? First you put the film in your camera, and the shutter's closed, and then you push the button and the shutter opens, and it lets like a millisecond of light in, and all of those silver halide crystals go bing, and they all orientate themselves to one way instantly, in an instant. This is also like what carbon dating is. Carbon dating is pretty much the same thing. They can basically, when you dig something up after that hasn't seen light for a really long time, they look at it under certain kinds of measuring things, and they can tell by how quickly it moves into its orientation, how long it hasn't seen light, essentially. I'm grossly, again, oversimplifying this, but that's what's happening. It's analog. It's chemistry. It's like real atomic level, awesome, cool shit. And it's not that different from records, really. I mean, it's waves, it's really cool. So your film speed, we've gone all the way back to ISO. We finally got here. We're back to ISO, and I can't believe I'm talking about this. Let me stop there. ISO, I'm coming back to ISO for a second. Let's see. It's an absolutely the Pixies P. Okay, Fish is to Brian as Pixies are to Nick. Hey, the Pixies are to Brian is what Fish is to Brian. I fucking love the Pixies. Pixies are the godfathers of everything, man. The Pixies, man, I live my life by the Pixies. Like, that's a lonely island. I don't know if we've ever shared that, Nick, but I'm like, Pixies changed my life. Like, Pixies changed my life. And I can't say I've seen the Pixies, and I'm embarrassed that I'm not a bigger fan than I am, but there's a chapter in my life that was like Pixies mean a lot to me. Pixies are like a Beatle. They're almost like the Beatles of my generation, I feel like. Maybe Nick too. I know we're about the same age. I think we're almost exactly the same age. Green Yoon. Have you ever been to Fukuoka? I'm going there tomorrow. Fukuoka. Yes. Have I? No, I haven't. Kumamoto. Where's Kumamoto's in Kumamoto, Ken? I've been to Kyushu once. I've been to Kumamoto. I forget where Kumamoto is, but there was a big earthquake there a few years ago, and I've been doing some volunteer work down there, Kumamoto. And I kind of like, they just tell me where to go, and I just go. Kumamoto. We did Photomoto in Kumamoto, my volunteer project. And but I think that's not Fukuoka. Yeah, Fukuoka is up north on the north side of Kyushu. You want me to share this? I'll see if I can get this shared. Come on. Everything's going haywire today. I need to get a new lens adapter thing. And I have it. It's just in a storage container that I don't have with me at the moment. I'm going to go get it tomorrow morning. So Kumamoto is here. That's where I've been. Kumamoto. This is, let's see if I can zoom out. Here's the islands of Japan. There's 4 main islands. There's Hokkaido. And then Hokkaido has these 2 islands. And then these islands over here are the disputed islands that Russia has. And they don't have, like, on my map here in Japan, they're like gray. They're like those gray islands. And they're kind of like, they get their boats out there, and they... Russia basically won them fair and square, but it's one of those situations. And then Hokkaido is the big island up here where Sapporo is, and then Honshu is the main island where Tokyo is. Tokyo's here, Nagoya, Osaka, Kobe. And then here's Shikoku. Shikoku is the like 3rd island, and it's kind of got a unique culture. So it's becoming it's becoming one of the least populated places, I think. I think this whole area is getting I think a little bit depopulated. Well, all over the place actually, but Shikoku is real nice. I think there's also like the famous pilgrimage where people go around is here. And then the last little island that you get to before you get to like Okinawa, which is like way down here, Amami and Okinawa. This island is called Kyushu, and this was like the kingdom of Kyushu. This was like a whole different country before like Japan was unified. And they have a whole different culture and different cuisine, and they're got a different speed, and it's they're a different kind of Japanese spirit for sure. And Fukuoka is here, and Fukuoka is apparently like a really nice town. I've never been, but a lot of like beach life, a lot of like beautiful mountains, and I don't really know that much about it. I know that they're famous for their sake, they're famous for their nihonshu, and they're kind of crazy party animals. Apparently, you know, they have their like legendary. What would we compare them to? Something like, hard to say. Yeah, maybe this. You know, I don't know how to. I don't know what they're just. You know, vibrant spirits, spirited people. Maybe like a Boston of sorts. I'm not quite sure. Maybe a North. Maybe I'm not sure. I have no idea. But cool. Yeah, you're going to Kyushu. Nice, dude. Or going to Fukuoka. I'd love to go. And the Beatles are 240. Yeah, I mean, I love the Beatles. I love them all, man. I love them all. Let's see here. Okay, a lot of Pixies talk going on. You gotta get back to work. All right, dude. Take care, man. Nice to see you. Cheers for stopping by. James Farley in the house. What's up, James? Happy to have you guys here. Makes me wonder about what effect magnetic currents have on our moods, even personalities, and whether it changes depending on where we live. Yeah, for sure, man. Synapses oriented like underground stalactites, right? Yeah, I mean, you got iron in your blood, you got iron in your body. You're full of metal. You're full of magnet. You're magnetic. Yeah, I mean, back to that real quick. They say like, you know, as the Mayan calendar, is that the one? I think the Mayan calendar says like the year of the white wind or something. Like they have a like the 2012. I think that wasn't the world supposed to end in like 2012. I think there was like that's the year of the white wind or something. And yeah, but we're overdue. We're long overdue for a magnetic shift. So basically what happens is, I just put the little bow on that, is that basically this mid-Atlantic ridge, you know, where the Pangea, where the two continents were once together, basically it erupted and erupted and erupted in this linear volcano, like the seam on a baseball. And it just erupted and erupted and kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing the continents away from each other until you have basically this passive boundary plate that's on the eastern seaboard of the Americas and on the, you know, Western Europe and West Africa. And that's why there's not really earthquakes on the eastern seaboards of either of the continents. But on the western side, what you have is what is it? Yeah. Help me out here. Basaltic ocean crust, and acidic tectonic plate crust, which is lighter and more buoyant. Buoyant is Java. Who knows Boyne? Does anybody know Boyne? Boyne is a girl with a voluptuous girl in Japan, and she goes boing, 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 boing. She's kind of buoyant. Anyway, and there's and on the west coast of the Americas, for example, the lighter, should I do this way? The lighter andesitic plate crust, continental crust, is going up, and the heavier ocean crust is subducting beneath the ocean and pushing up the Rocky Mountains. And you learned about plate tectonics when you were a kid. So but this mid-Atlantic ridge is kind of what gave us the science that, oh, this is how the continents got apart from each other. It was a very big, and like that's why Iceland is filled with like hot springs and onsens, is because they're on top of a volcano. They're on top of the mid-Atlantic ridge that goes up and down the coast there. I'm getting back to ISO. Okay, glad I'm listening while at work, Brian. We'll have to talk about this. Yes. Okay. Yes, about the pixie stuff. I used to help my dad in the basement develop 8x10 wedding photos. Wow, I love the red light and the smell of fixer. Yes. Darkroom is a fun place to hang out. My grandfather also, I grew up with he had a dark room, and I would always go in there, and like I think my sister and I don't really remember if we ever actually got like a darkroom lesson. I can't. I remember we were in there all the time, but I don't remember having the whoa moment where the photo came out from the paper until I was much older. So I can't imagine that was something that I learned early and forgot. So I don't know if it ever actually happened, but I did set up my own darkroom years ago, and used to like basically. I had like this little apartment where the weirdest apartment. It had like this bed that came out of the ceiling, this sort of like boom era in Japan, this like boom era hotel, or not hotel, apartment building that was just like a remnant of the boom era. And it had like all this high-tech stuff in it. And it had this like modular, it was this like what do they call it? Like a metabolism kind of like philosophy. And it had like an intercom, and it had, key lock, and it had, or like a card key lock, and it had like like coil wires and a telephone. Like it's super strange and kind of futuristic for the time. It was probably built in like, I don't know, maybe the 80s or 70s, maybe even earlier. But it was called Plaza USA. It's still there. Oh, it was so much fun, actually. But it had it had USEN in the wall. It had like this kind of like car stereo, like modular sort of speaker system built into the house and built into the walls. It was super weird. And it had like, in Japan you have USEN, which is like, I don't know if you guys have USEN in Europe. I don't think we have it in America, but it's just basically like radio. It's like it's like radio without like it's not I don't know what it is. I don't actually even know what USEN is, but it's commercialless radio. And there's like 100 stations, and it's just there was the Beatles channel, and there's no commercials, and it's just USEN, and you have to subscribe to it, but people don't. It's like a TV kind of, but radio. Anyway, they had two different Beatles channels. It was like channel 8 and channel 81 or something, and one of the stations was like the early one, and the other one was like the old one. And I used to just like basically set up the dark room, and then on like Friday night, and then just like develop for like 3 days in a row. And just, basically be drinking the fixer and the stop bath, and just be like, whoo, getting really high on chemicals and making photos. And it was super fun. But when the family came, I had to like basically couldn't really share the bathroom with the family. So the darkroom kind of went away. And now I still love film, but I use instant film. Instant film is kind of my thing. I don't have time to like develop like negative film. Maybe someday if I'm loaded, I'll use film again. I got all these nice film cameras, but I just use instant film basically. Sometimes, Brian, you can show us the NHK transmitter facility. Can you show us an NHK transmitter facility? That's an interesting question, James. What makes you curious about the NHK transmitter facility? I don't even know if I could tell you what an NHK transmitter facility looks like. But maybe I could find something. I'll poke around. The magnetic field is what keeps us from frying in the sun. Exactly. You're right. It does indeed. I gave up on politics decades ago, so now I'm pinning my hopes on the next magnetic shift. I mean, yeah, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. I mean, it could shift over like, they can't really tell, like if it's just like an instantaneous shift, or, geologic time is so deep that you can't know if it's like a 10-minute shift, or if it's a 10-second shift, or if it's a, 100-year shift, or a, 1,000-year shift. And so, we'll just have to wait and see. So, anyway, I'm going to be finished talking about photography, but, basically you've got your ISO, which is your film speed. And it depending on, and what it is on the 100 film speed, they don't paint very much of the silver halide stuff on it. And they can put the little tiny grainy, they can just put the little tiniest grains on it, right? The finest silver on the 100 speed. And then if you wanted to use the stuff that's really sensitive at nighttime, then you have to use the chunkier halide crystals, basically. And that's what gets painted on the ISO 1600 or 3200 or whatever. And so the trade-off is that when you're using 100 speed ISO, you get really fine grain. You can achieve really sharp images, really fine grain, lots of just tiny little, you can see film grain, but just little tiny microscopic spots. And it's really beautiful. Like a little, it doesn't even, you can barely even make it out. But as you go up the ISO hierarchy till you get to the top one, the grain gets a little bit clunkier and chunkier and fatter and a little bit more sort of, I don't want to say ugly, but it's just, you get this grain effect. And that's the trade-off, is that you get more sensitivity to light, but you don't get the high the whatever super fine grain of the film. So you lose some sharpness with the higher speed ISO. So you got ISO to deal with. Now you're thinking like, oh, we don't have to deal with ISO because we have we have digital cameras now, but basically they emulate all the, you have your digital camera. Now it has all these ISO speeds, and it's just basically the same thing. And it's the same trade-off too, because you have, instead of grain on your camera, you have noise. That's what they call like digital grain, is noise. Sometimes you see those like purpley kind of greenish artifacts or a little pixelation when you turn up when you shoot it like at nighttime. That's what that is. It's like digital noise, and it's the same, essentially the same thing. So your clutch is the ISO. Then you got your accelerator is like your shutter speed. That's just like, click it. You got shutter speed options. Like if you're going to shoot the Olympics, you need really fast shutter speeds. And if you're going to shoot like a concert at night, maybe you need to open that shutter for a long time because it's really dark. So that's your shutter speed. And that's your accelerator and your clutch. And then you have your shifter, which is basically your aperture, right? And your aperture kind of decides like what you're doing creatively. It decides like that depth of field thing that I was talking about a moment ago. So it's kind of your most, I don't want to say it's your most visual important creative component, because shutter speed certainly can be that as well. But you're basically, you got a clutch, you got an accelerator, you got a shifter. And then after all that, then you got composition. That's the fourth dimension basically with photography, and not to mention all the other X factors, the other invisible dimensions that you can't see. But that's the steering wheel basically. That's the journey that you're on. That's the rest of the equation. So there's a lot of things to think about when you're doing photography. And this video that I'm finishing right now and that I'm exporting right now is all about photography, and I'm very, very excited to share it. And I'm very excited to get this video camera that is recording me right now fixed. And here's one of the things that I want to say about, this is the last thing I'll say about. I have two versions. I have two lenses. I have these two lenses. My one lens is broken, so now I'm using my backup one because my other one needs to go somewhere else. I can't have it right now. And so I'm using the backup one. And for about 10 minutes today, I didn't have the backup one, and I used a different one. And I was like, this one won't be as good. And all I want to say is that like I switched something around. I was inconvenienced by something, and I had a constraint. And because of the constraint, I did something that I thought was going to be a quick fix. And then I got back to the basically editing booth after I did my little quick fix, and I discovered something really great. I discovered that why have I not been doing it this way for a really long time? That's definitely the way that I should be doing it henceforth. And it was because of this mistake that I made. And I don't know, I just want to say in the creative process, you often like, it's the constraints and it's the mistakes and it's the things that you don't expect to go the way that they end up going are sometimes the best teachers. So yeah, I just want to say that. But I got something else I want to get into, and then I'm going to get off this thing. NHK has different regional stations in addition to their national programming. Yornimer, okay, cheers. I don't know about this. Oh, wait, you're asking me? NHK has different regional stations in addition to their national programming. Yes, I do not watch Japanese TV at all, like basically zero. I mean, I know the faces, I know the characters. It's not entertaining to me whatsoever. Like, it's a different, like, it's like couldn't be like a more foreign and alien culture. The TV is just, it's like comedy, like the humor doesn't translate, the drama does not translate, like nothing really translates. Sometimes you'll get good, well, not sometimes, I mean there's great movies, but like made like TV movies, it's, I don't, no judgment, but it's just like what the Japanese, and I think Asia maybe in general, and I think they also like, they film it like, what are those, like the different codecs, like doesn't, like Japan films at like 60 frames a second and America is like at 24 or something like that, and that like creates like a big difference, I think, for like terrestrial TV, I think so, or something like that. So it looks different. It feels, it's like over everything to me. So I never watch TV. It's on all the time because my family's watching it, but I do not watch it. Yeah, man, I'm into radio too. I need to fire up the radio. I have one of these Yamaha AV amps. I have a bunch of different amps, but I have one audio video amp that I run the whole TV thing through. And it has it's just got like Bluetooth and all the new stuff, and it has radio, and it has this really weird, crazy, old school, like feels like it's like Windows 95 interface that you can interface with the amp through through a computer program, but the computer program is like, it's so old and so old school. It's really kind of cool, and you can program in all these like radio stations, and then you can just operate your, like, your old school amp with like, you can go through radio stations. And I, like a couple years ago, maybe like 10 years ago now, actually, I went and looked up like, what's the best classical station, what's the best like international station, what's the best like blah 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 station, and I programmed my amp with like all the best, like 100 radio stations. And I was, for a couple years, I had like a lot of fun. And then I sort of defaulted on FIP. You guys listen to FIP? That's a great recommendation. FIP. I call it French International Programming, but that's not what the acronym is. It's something else, but it's France Independent Radio, basically. And it's fucking so good. It's like real DJs, and it's so good. I mean, it's like the best. It's like the greatest radio station ever, like in the history of man. It's so good. I can pick up shortwave radio channel here in the United States at night sometimes. Awesome, man. My dad was really into shortwave radio. He built his own radios. He was into ham radio. He taught us Morse code at night. Like we had like, that was like our bedtime stories for a year or two. Like we had to learn like Morse code. I've sadly forgotten it all, but it was fun. He'd be like, he'd give us little quizzes, and we'd have to like decipher like I love you or sweet dreams, or so fun. My dad. And why was I talking about that recently? Yeah, anyway, he was into radio. Yeah, ISO 25 film. It's out there. I mean, I have ISO 20. Believe it or not, I still have, but I've depleted it. But I inherited a Guinness, like an actual Guinness Book of World Records unused film collection. It's a long story, but a crazy gal collected what she got verified as the Guinness Book of World Records biggest unused film collection in the world. And she collected hundreds of thousands of rolls of film. And from not just like from every era, every format, every 100-year-old stuff. like all this, just like scouring like online shopping pages and auction sites and eBay and Yahoo auction, and she bought just like like manic, like OCD level of mania, and she died, and I ended up with all of her film. Some crazy story. So I have a storage container that had like several 100,000 rolls of film in it, believe it or not. And it was not expired or refrigerated. It was all going to end up in landfill if I didn't take it, basically. And I thought it should go to a museum, or I thought it should go to somewhere else. And if I didn't take it, it was like, and I didn't decide like on the day that it was being offered to me, then it was going to end up in the landfill. And so I took it, I accepted it, and it showed up at my door, and now I pay I pay to keep it, and I give it away. I give it away for charity projects. I basically use it to rally the film, um, the film maniac crew in Tokyo, which is strong, as you maybe can imagine. And all these people who are like crazy for film, for film. I host these events a couple times a year, and I basically offer everybody to come and get like 10 or 20 rolls, and they pay a 30, 50, $100 or whatever they pay. And we have these like, we raise money for charity. So it's really cool. And we kind of try to honor this girl who collected it. So I have some ISO 25 film, and it's like I have ISO probably like I don't even know what's in there. There's like I haven't even seen it all. It's like boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes, and it's like, and people like don't collect it because it's like critical, because they need like critical results. They just collect it because it's just fun. It's just a fun, goofy way to get together. Okay, guys, I have a thing that I came online here. My homie Stuart is not out there, is he? Is dude in the house? I think I gotta make my own video. I think I gotta make a dedicated video to this, but I have a busy weekend of making lots of there's a couple of things that I want to make, and I don't want to wait a minute. I got a package in the mail today, and it's not exactly VCLT, but it is VCLT. Is that yeah, VCLT, right? And just to get an empty package here, just a box, just to send a box here, is like, you guys have no idea, you really can't understand. Just to get a box here is like prohibitively expensive. And I got a package, Disc Union of all places, in Japan. I don't know how Stuart pulled this off, but it came all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. And Stuart is a guy who I met in the VC, and cool cat. I've only met him actually kind of online once. He came up onto a stream, and he told me that he works at this crazy bookstore in Nashville. And I went and like looked it up, and somebody can look it up and tell me if they can remember what it is. But there's like this huge independent bookstore that's in Nashville, and it's like people come from around the region to go to this bookstore, I think. And I've seen pictures. It's like it's like an impressive library. And there's like a balcony that goes around the place, and it's this like, it's a sea of books, and it's not just like a warehouse, it's like a beautiful shop. And Stuart is in charge of the music, and I think like the mixed media beyond like the books. And he told me like, yo, I think I collect some records, and I have some records in my collection that you might dig on. And he rattled off a couple of the things, and I was like, dude, how did you get that? And he's like, oh, I just came into the shop one day. I'm like, no way, it just came into the shop. And he's like, yeah, I mean, if you think that this would bring you some joy, I want to send it along. And I was like, no, you got to flip those things. And he's like, yeah, but I can't flip them because they're for the shop and blah blah blah. And I don't know, there's a thing about it, but I mean, so here's what I want to say about it, is that like the record, I think that I'm going to open this up, but like, I'm just so humbled by the generosity that just the act, like the what do you call it? The proactivity is not the word I'm looking for, but like the initiative, like the fact that somebody would like let go of their dollars so easily to a stranger, you know, really moved me. And it made me like, yeah, it's really humbling, to be honest. I mean, it really, really is humbling. There's another thing I wanted to say about it, and it was kind of like, I'm trying to remember what my thought was. But I wanted to open this up because, yeah, I think I'm going to end up making another video about it because I want to, but I don't want to wait until I want to do it now. That's why I got caught on the stream. So, Stuart, I got your package. I'm so pumped. I don't know what to say. I'm really beside myself. I'm gonna figure out a way to like pay it back and pay it forward at the same time, because this was just like a humbling level of generosity, and I just like, I like Japan, you know, it's far away. It's like, just because it's so far away, it's like, I'm not going to send that dude I'm not going to send him anything. It's going to cost me it's going to cost me 3 times whatever I want to send, you know, just to send it. It's going to 3 times the cost of the actual thing. What else? I wanted to say something else about this shop. Oh, I remember. Okay. So actually, I don't know if you guys saw, but I started a now actually this is kind of key. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try to make it work. I'm just putting out some intention. The thing that I have going on right now is a very fucking busy life. I'm just like, not to say that it's like any more busy than anybody else's, but it's just, I got the family life, I got the work life, I got the creative life, I got the side project, the other side project, the other side project. I don't have like I can't secure some time to come online in a regular time each week, and I really, 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 really want to, because I want to be like dependable to you, to the people who want to come and hang out. And so I've just been wanting to do this for so long, but like my crew doesn't go. My crew is a late night crew and an early morning crew. It's like one kid likes Western breakfast and the other kid likes Japanese breakfast. It's like, it's fun. It's crazy how like different they are, and they start at different hours and they go to sleep at different hours. And so like, there's no time. This is the time I get to myself, is the 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. slot. But that's the way it goes when you're a parent, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's like the best. It's the absolute best. And I don't have to do anything tomorrow, so don't worry about me. But I noticed that there was a little bit of open field in front of me on Wednesday nights, and also a couple other nights, but there was at least some open field in front of me. And I thought about planning it out and giving it some forethought and making a little plan and like putting it together. But then I just threw all the caution to the wind. And I said, okay, I'm going to claim these spots. I'm going to claim this. I'm going to claim my Wednesday night, your Wednesday morning, depending on where you are in the world, for the next 8 weeks. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to commit to it, but I went ahead and I put on, I'll go ahead and, I don't know if I didn't like really announce this, but I'll go ahead and, it's not really worth announcing, but I'll just announce it for the hell of it. Let's see here. You guys will be like, this guy's just such a cornball, but what the hell? Okay, so here's the Tokyo Record Style website. Here's the videos. I'm gonna have a new one coming out here in a few hours. There's my last summer Matsuri video. Did you guys see this one? This one was cool. It was like I'm floating around with a 3D. I'm like, it's fun. I'm doing a 3D or what 365-degree camera there. That's kind of fun. And then this was this cool Walkman thing. And there's more stuff coming. But if you go over here to live, you'll see 8. Is it 8? There should be 8. Oh, there we go. There's 8. There's the one we're doing right now. There's weekday at, like weekend at Bernie's. It's like a silly gag. Like instead of weekday at Bernie's, which is like the guys who'd like drag around the dead guy, you know that movie, right? From the 90s, from the 80s, Weekend at Bernie's. This is weekday at Brian's, not weekend at Bernie's. It's weekday at Brian's. So I've got, Wednesday, July 23rd at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 p.m. Japan Standard Time. Now, 11 p.m. Japan Standard Time is, my family is here. They're like awake and they're like watching TV, and I can't be here, right, in this very spot. So I have to come up with a way to find a place to stream from, that will, that I can use and go off on, and one night, but it can't be here. So the last time I did it, the first week that I did it from the car, which is not something I've, shied away from. I'm not averse to like doing it in the car, but I do not want to do it in the car. So I challenged myself to commit to this thing, and I just thought, if I put this on the calendar, I'll go find somewhere where I can host this event. I'll find somewhere out in Tokyo, maybe very nearby, maybe where I can go and be like, yo, can I have just 2 hours a night to come into your little place while it's either open or closed and do something here that I can't do at my house. I just decided if I put it on the calendar, it would force me to go push that idea forward. And that's what I did. I did that yesterday. I went out and I asked the first person, and I said, hey, I know this is a crazy idea, but could I come after hours to your shop and do this thing? It would be a good opportunity for your shop. And I got no reply. So but I don't know if it's a definitive no, but I think there's some thinking about it. But how does this connect to Stuart? Well, Stuart, the very sweet Stuart who hooked me up with this record, I feel like there's a whole bunch of you guys out there. Let me stop sharing my screen. Well, I'll just leave it up for a second. Yeah. So there's 8 events. So it's every Wednesday night except for one. This last one, I jumped from the 27th to the 10th. I have to skip 1 week because I got something going on in there. But I already put them on the calendar. And what I kind of want to do is I want to do something different. And I don't know if it can be really different, but I heard Kurt Cobain say in an interview today, just coincidentally, he said he's getting asked by an interview, what do you want to do? What's the future of music for you? And he said, like, I want to do something different. And he said, like, I don't want to become like a prog band. This is his words. I don't want to become a prog band, but I don't want to. I look at the Beatles, and I'm not comparing myself to the Beatles. He said, and I'm not comparing myself to Nirvana or the Beatles, but he said, but they went from "She Loves You," yeah, 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 to Sgt. Pepper's, And Butch, what's his name? Butch Vig. He tells the story about how like he always wanted to like double Kurt Cobain's vocals on "Smells Like Teen Spirit." On Nevermind, and but Kurt didn't want to do it. But every time Butch was like, "Hey, John Lennon did it," Kurt would be like, "Okay." Like he was a giant Beatles fan, and you can hear it in the music. Interestingly, it's so bizarre that's like, but you can hear it in there. All the changes, all the strange like C to like G to like C to E. It's like a Beatles move. Like if you play enough Beatles songs, you hear these things that they do. They walk down to places, and they don't go 1-4-5. They do like weird little things. And if you just know enough Beatles songs, when you go to play other songs, you say like, oh, I've done this before. The Beatles did this on this tune, and the Nirvana has this. Anyway, I want to do something. I don't know how to do it. I have no idea, but I don't want to have a online hangout that is just arguing about nothing. I don't know. I don't want to have a shouting match about, how one person's opinion is better than another person's opinion. I want to have a salon of sorts, and I want to welcome those of you who don't come on live streams. And my friend Stuart came on once, but I haven't seen him again. And I want to get Stuart up on this live stream. This live stream that I want to make on these Wednesday nights it's for some people who maybe are comfortable on live streams, but I want to make a space where, like, you guys who I haven't met in person, who I only know your name, in these chats, I want to make a space for us. And I want it to be like a place of expanding enthusiasm and appreciation, and like no snark zone. Kind of, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know how you get there exactly, but that is the intention that I'm trying to put forward. And I'm happy to just articulate. It's been swirling around in my head, and that's really what I want to do. And I don't know if it's even possible. I don't know how you do that, but yeah, I want to see if there's a way to do that. And you know what, like I imagine it won't be that interesting. I mean, not that it won't be that interesting, but that it won't be that it won't be like it's shocking or something, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay to forego some shock and some snark to make a welcome to welcome some schmaltz and some cheese and some over sentimentality, and to get laughed at or whatever. Like, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm okay with that. If I can make a place where people are like, yo, I feel heard here. I contributed something to this conversation. That's what I want to make. And I'm about to sign off here, but my God, I don't know if, oh my God, dude. I think I need to make like a proper dedicated video for this thing. I think I'm going to do that. So forgive me for doing it twice. Oh my God, this is a riot. I think I'm going to, I can't save it all. Okay, let me give you a sneak peek. I'm going to make a video. Oh my God, that's amazing. I'm going to make you a sneak peek. Okay, so these are some stickers that I got sent. Ching. And it looks very, very cool. There is some fucking awesome, cool psychedelic stuff coming through from Stuart, and some campy stuff and some cool stuff. Okay. This is going to be awesome. I am going to make a video. I'm going to make a video about it. I just give me a couple days, Stuart. But I will do it because I want to, not necessarily for Stuart, but I just, because I want to. It's like, it'll be fun. It'll be a fun story to tell. Am I ignoring you guys? Dude, thank you, Stuart. Thank you for the, that's cool, dude. Very cool. I don't even know. I hope you catch this, Stuart. Let's see here. Buckstop's here in the house. What's up, Stefan? Nice to see you, dude. Hola, Vince. Okay, some friendly banter between you guys. Cold here. Wow, in South Africa. Oh, yeah, so we got 2 South Africans here. Vincent, you guys, I think, are both in Cape Town? You guys aren't pals, are you? You guys aren't friendly, are you? Vince, a little vinyl fair here. Constantia tomorrow, by the way. VW split screen van, Brian. I didn't have a splitty, but I had a transporter. I had I had a type, what was it called? It's called a transporter. I had a camp mobile. That's what the official name is, but it wasn't a splitty. Okay, you guys are chatting about South Africa. I just got back from my local shopping groceries. How's that for hot news? Hold on, the camera's it says it's going to be fixed tomorrow. I promise. I can't control the camera because the lens is short circuiting the camera. Yeah, hey, yeah, I kind of like, it's an interesting thought, actually. I've been thinking about, like, yeah, it's an interesting thought, James. Really is. I kind of like want to, like, yeah, kind of like thinking about that, like clearing the slate. Yeah, I think it would be good. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not real sure because it's really like I really, really want to make a no snark zone, and I think it's almost impossible. Like, I think it's impossible. I don't have faith in myself, to be honest. I really don't. I want to try, but I'm gonna fail, but I'm gonna try. God damn. Now I'm committed to this. I kind of want to wait. The thing was that I have a video that I want to make in 12 hours time or less. And it's going to take up my entire next 3 days. And I did not want to wait for 3 days to make this video. But God, this might be not a good idea to do it this way. Okay, here's the promise that I make. Will you guys all pretend to be surprised when I do it again? Will you be surprised? Oh, great video. I do want to do it that way. I'm going to pretend to open this all over again. Literally. I'm literally going to pretend to open it. You know? Really nice packing job. Cool. There's just like little details all over the place. He's done. Dude, Stuart is the man. Dude, this is like a proper. Dude. How am I going to do this? This is well wrapped too, dude. Stuart, this made it expensive. The more shipping you put on this, you guys can send like little cardboard boxes to each other. Like to get it across the sea on a boat, in a plane, it's got to be like bulletproof. Man, he even did the corners and all kinds of shit. Yeah. This is double, triple reinforced. Dude, the fuck is this? My shit's all fucked up, you guys. My camera. Oh my God. My heart's kind of like pounding. Oh my God. Fuck! Dude! 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 Oh my goodness. Dudes. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is fucking awesome, dude. Party time. You don't know this record, but I do. I am so stoked with the Casbot Fox sticker on it. The fuck is that, dude? That is the bomb. This is a highly, highly coveted. It's not even canon. It's an outtake. It was like only available for like it's fish. It's fish. It was only available for like a limited run, and he's taken it out of the package. Okay, dude, but that's not all. I'll leave it at that. But there's even one more special thing in here. I'll leave it at that, and I'll save the rest for the next video. Okay, thank you for indulging me in that. I'm just beside myself. Oh my God. I am beside myself. Okay. So there's a little teaser of this video that I'm going to make. I'm going to make it, Stuart. Let me say thank you. Let me just say a very big gayute, a very, very, very big thank you. That is so insanely generous. Insanely generous. I actually haven't seen anybody in the vinyl community. I haven't seen that generosity. I don't know, maybe over the course of multiple exchanges that some of you guys have had with each other. I have not seen, I don't, not to like not to like make too much of it, but I have not seen that level of graciousness. Stuart, I'm fucking beside myself, dude. I'm very, very beside myself. Thank you. Thank you very, 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 very much. Insane. But that's not even it. Let me make a video about it. Give me a couple days to make it because I got another thing I got to get out the door. But I'm going to come back to this day, and please promise me you'll be surprised when I do it once more. I will do it, and it'll be like it'll be an inside joke. Okay, that's it. It's 3:33. That seems like a good time to wrap this up. Yeah. So next Wednesday morning, I got a big weekend. I got a 3-day weekend. I'm going to make some videos. I'm going to publish some stuff. I might even like, what do they call it? Like a debut. What's that thing? What's that called? Like instant. What do they call that? Like you watch it with the people. Maybe I'm going to watch it in the morning. I'm going to premiere it. That's the word. I'm going to premiere my new video. It's long. You guys are going to be like, this fucking joker. Why is he making these videos? Watch it on double time. Anybody who's watching this, I got a video coming out. I promise you it'll be fun, but watch it on triple time. If that now you can watch it on triple time. They used to be only like double time, but now you can actually watch it on, I think, on quadruple time. In fact, you can watch it real fast. It's coming though. It's going to be out in 24 hours, and it's just part one. And I want to get part two done to this weekend, which is why I wanted to like get this kind of like out of the way. Forgive me for saying it that way, but so tomorrow's plan is to like make that video. I got to get some sleep so I can get up and make it, and then I'm gonna like spend the next 24 hours editing it so that the part two can come out shortly thereafter. Although knowing myself, part two won't probably come out for a whole week. But I do have a 3-day weekend to work on it. So if the family like dashes away to do, I do have some activities. Okay, anyway, I'm just rambling. Very few, Nick. Very fucking few. And yeah, I feel extremely lucky. Andrea's gonna freak. She's definitely gonna freak out. I received some pretty crazy generous VCLT. It's crazy. I gotta send some. I've sent a bit out, but I gotta send some more. I said it before. I got sticky fingers. I got my sticky bouquet fingers. I can't like let go of the cat. It's like I'm just like hemorrhaging money at every corner, and I'm like, but this generosity, it's humbling. It's like it really is. I've been wondering, like, is the vinyl community, is it really unique? I think it might fucking be. I think it might actually. I don't know if the bicycle community is sending BCLT out to anybody. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe yes, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, James, thanks for popping by. Were you the one that was asking about the radio station? I'll see if I can figure that out. 40 man, good to see you. Appreciate you hanging out. Nick, Buxed, Vincent. Man, I gotta. Yeah, so I want you guys to come up on this thing. I know I can get Bucks. I know I can get 4D. Nick, I can probably get. James, can I get James? Can I get Vince? Yornimer, that's a challenge. Yornimer, do you ever get on screen? Oh, I know Nagano City has its own regional NHK station that broadcasts local. Okay, did I read that comment correctly? I know Nagano City. Okay. Can I get Yornamore on screen? Can I get any of you guys that aren't on screen? Can I get Raji? That's my challenge. I wonder if I can get Raji on screen. And whatever. If you don't want to, it's like, but I want to make a space where you'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna go hang out. Green Yoon. I don't remember you, Green Yoon. I like your name though, Green Yoon. Cheers, guys. It's fun hanging out. Photo Weenie, always a pleasure, dude. Appreciate you. Barry Brennan, I skipped over your comment. Sorry, dude. Hey, folks. Nice to see you. Did I say your name? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Grasshopper TV was in the house. Dude, fun times hanging out, man. I like hanging out with you guys. I want to have, like, Wednesday, I'm like, can't wait. I'm like, yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, Stuart. Dude, face. Dude. I'm talking face, melted my face, dude. I'm gonna actually put this on right now. I'm gonna go listen to it right now. I'm stoked. So stoked. So stoked. It's party time. Alaska, Windy City. In a misty glade. I don't even know if I know this song. Gone, Only a Dream. The Birdwatcher Let Me Lie's on here. Cool. Dude, Liquid Time. Dude, this is so interesting. This is so super interesting. Okay. All right. Good night, everybody. See you on the next stream. Appreciate you guys all being here. Have a good Friday, TGIF. It's already, my Friday's over. It's already Saturday. Have a nice weekend, everybody. I'll see you out there on the streams, on the tubes. All right. Bye for now. See ya.